Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be talking about partner labs, some of our partner labs. We're also going to be talking about price sheets a lot. So pretty demo heavy today. So we are going to go ahead and get started in just a few minutes. We'll wait just a little bit longer. So if anybody wants to tell me in the chat, are you fulfilling through our partner labs? Are you familiar with price sheets? You know, where is everybody kind of with our topic today? It's a quiet bunch. It's okay. All right, well, I don't want to wait too long because, again, we have a lot to do today. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. So our upcoming webinars, next week, we will be talking about packages. This is one of my favorites. I will go ahead and drop the link for both of these, actually. And then the week after that, we're going to have a little photographer spotlight with Deanna Decker about turning mini sessions into signature art. So here is the packages webinar. And then here is Deanna's webinar. And then our usual housekeeping spiel. Please close any extra browser tabs, any streaming services, anything that might be eating into your bandwidth today. Feel free to chat with each other in the chat tab. If you can, please ask questions in the Q&A tab. It just keeps it, you know, a little easier for me to spot questions and not comments or chat in the chat tab. But if you put it in the chat tab, don't worry, I will keep an eye out for things there. So our agenda for today, we're going to start out with talking about why you should sell prints. Then we're going to go over the benefits of fulfilling through one of our partner labs. We're going to talk about enabling online purchasing, setting, and then looking at what the client ordering experience is. And then we're going to go over order approval. So really just in general, we're going to be going over how easy it is to fulfill through ShootProof. Some of you might have some blockers just with like specific workflows that you do, but we can talk about that. But overall, lab fulfillment does make things pretty easy for you if you want to sell prints. We often hear users think that they won't be able to fulfill through our labs because they soft-proof, but we do have ways to do that. So yeah, overall, the goal is just to show you how you can make selling prints easier for yourself. So why and how to sell prints? Why sell prints? Selling prints and products is a valuable service to your clients, right? We're going to make it easier for them to go ahead and purchase what they've already kind of gotten from you, right? They've already gotten their photos. So now you're going to give them an easy way for them to go ahead and purchase prints of those photos. We did a little poll, and 77% of consumers say their collection of photos is among the most valuable assets that they own. And 90% of consumers display their photos on a desk or wall. I don't have any on my desk right now, but I have to have a lot of stuff on my desk to do webinar presenting. I do, however, have 2 shelves against the wall next to me that are filled with lots of photos that I have fulfilled through ShootProof from my wedding, family photos, engagements, all of that. And it is really nice to be able to look out throughout the day and see those next to me. And then in addition to, you know, what it does for your client, selling prints and products makes each of your clients a little bit more valuable to you, right? Because in addition to already, you know, getting that money for taking their photos, you're going to get it for selling prints and products to them as well. So I know a lot of people are nervous about selling and a little unsure. I totally understand that. So we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, shifting your mindset when it comes to that. We're going to talk about this a lot. You want to remember that in this scenario, you're not just selling, products. You're not just selling things. You're offering them a way to preserve their memories and to display those, right? So they chose you to take their pictures. They want those photos. They want to see them, right? Your clients value and trust your experience and your judgments. You want to use that to kind of guide them into what they are wanting to purchase. So to do this, we want to be knowledgeable, right, about the different labs, the lab you're using, the products that you're wanting to sell. So, you want to be able to know kind of what sells the most or what you like to sell the most. And you want to talk to them about their needs. So we don't want to be overly salesy, but we want to, be knowledgeable so that we can help them purchase, exactly what they want. They don't actually automatically need the biggest canvas that there is if they are just, looking for something to put in a small foyer or whatever. So we really want to get down to exactly what it is that they want to purchase. So how to sell? Again, don't sell prints. We're selling the memories. We're selling, the physical manifestation of that photo shoot that they did. So really try to focus on that and try to tell a story. Successful sales strategies do tap into feelings of nostalgia. Karen, who sometimes does this webinar, has a really great story about how they used to look at her mother's wedding album every year on her anniversary. She used to do it with her daughters so that they could see, their grandmother's wedding. We all have memories of, looking through photo albums with your family or, your grandparents. Every time I do this webinar, I'm actually reminded that I don't have a wedding album. And I'm like, I should really make a wedding album because, we do have photos around from it, but it would be nice to have, that whole thing able to, be looked at whenever I felt like it. So again, we want to ask questions before the shoot. If there is something that they're looking for, they want family photos to put up in the living room or on the mantle or that kind of thing, because that will then help you plant some ideas during the shoot. This one's going to look great in that gallery wall you're talking about, or this one's going to look great, wherever else they told you. I don't actually have a print that I can show you of it, but we have one from our wedding. We did confetti cannons, which I know that, when she took the photo of us walking back down the aisle with the confetti cannon, she knew that that was like the shot, right? And so you want to know what they're looking for and plant those ideas. Like I know in that moment that that's exactly what she thought because it was the first photo that she sent us and she was right. We, all of the moms have that. Everybody has that as their family photo from our wedding. And then we want to be able to show examples. So pro tip, you can use our studio ordering feature to place at cost orders for samples. You want to really be able to show them why it is that they want to buy these prints from you, the quality. And the best way to do that is for them to see them in person. So this is just kind of elaborating more on those examples. We want to be knowledgeable on the prints, the products that we're selling so that you can educate clients on, paper types and canvas sizes and textures and all of that. Again, a good way to be able to do that is to have those so that you can show them. And actually, I meant to grab in my notes here. We do have an article about studio ordering, so you can learn about that there. But yeah, this is going to be a great way to highlight that quality difference between the professional and the consumer labs, because we all know there is a really big quality difference for that. And the best way is going to be to show them that, here's this photo from a professional lab and how good it looks. And, it's going to look better than what you get from Target or CVS or all of those other direct-to-consumer labs. All right. So now on to the benefits of lab fulfillment through ShootProof. So the first one is that you can order from the professional labs without having to upload 2 rows. So you're not going to have to upload your photos in a different place. Your clients are going to order those from their gallery. You're going to see it in an order in your account. and then you get to send that order directly to the lab. You don't have to re-upload. You also have options for shipping with your clients. So you can have it where it's always going to drop ship to your clients straight from the lab. In that scenario, they would pay for the shipping. It will be white label. They won't have any idea what lab you use. There's not going to be any sort of receipt or anything that shows, how much it costs or anything. There's like a return label, but it does not indicate the lab or anything. So you can have it sent directly to them. You also have the option to have it sent to your studio. So in that case, the client isn't charged for the shipping, and you can have it sent to your studio address. This is a great option for any of you doing kind of like volume work. So maybe you do schools or dance studios or sports or somewhere where maybe you might want to be able to, drop off the photos once you receive them. You can combine up to 25 orders to save on shipping. So again, in that school example, once you get 25 orders, you can combine those and have them shipped to your studio, and then you'll only pay that one shipping cost for that order. You can also replace files within the orders page. So this is good for those of you who do soft proofing. In the gallery settings, you also have the option to allow them to comment on orders. So if you do soft proofing and you want them to be able to comment and tell you exactly what it is that they want done to the photo when they purchase it, you can do that. And then you can replace that file within the order before you send it to the lab. So you don't have to, have everything already proofed and done before you upload. And then lastly, ShootProof handles any order issues for you. So we have great relationships with all of our partner labs and a direct line to their support teams. So you would just send us your order number, the issue with the order. Sometimes if it's like a damage or anything, we might require photos so that the lab can file a claim with the shipper. But we'll take care of that for you, and then we'll let you know when it's done so that you don't have to deal with that. So for your clients to be able to purchase through their galleries, we are going to want to make sure that we have online purchasing set up, which has a few steps to it. The first step is to accept payments online. So to do that, you would want to have a payment gateway set up. I'm not sure where everyone is tuning in from, but the different payment gateways depend on your location. So here in the US, we have ShootProof Pay, which is powered by Stripe. It's a really simple setup process that's pretty self-explanatory. To do that, you can go to the little head and shoulders in the top right of your account, and then go down to accept credit cards. So you'll sign up there, and it'll walk you through that process. With ShootProof Pay set up, your clients can make a payment right there in their gallery when they process the order or when they place the order. And then with lab fulfillment, what happens is that we take the money from the client, right? And then we just pay the lab costs from the money from the client. So you don't have to worry about it going to your card afterwards or any of that. We do not charge any sort of commission or anything through ShootProof Pay. We do have just the credit card authorization fee, which is 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. And then if you are a studio located outside of the US, you still can go to your account page, the head and shoulders in the top right corner. You can click accept credit cards, and then you will see the payment gateway options available to you there. So now that we have a way for your clients to purchase their orders, we want to choose a lab and create a price sheet for that lab. So this is just an example here of what you're going to see when you go and click that button, which we're going to do in just a second. But again, I'm mostly talking about our US labs right now. We do have labs for outside of the US, but these are just the ones that we have on the screen right now. So you would want to pick one of these and create a price sheet, which we're actually just going to go ahead and jump into our demo account and do right now. So we're going to go down here to store, and then we're going to go to price sheets. So we have some price sheets that we've already created. We are going to create one to go through it though. But before we get started, I want to show this which lab is right for me button. So you can go here and it will show you the labs that are available to you. You can select them and then go over here and click compare labs. It just has some kind of basic information about them, their location, where they ship to, all of that. So if you're in the process of picking a lab, you can use this to help you make a decision. We're going to create a price sheet. We recommend this commonly sold items price sheet. I also recommend this. What this does is it's going to set up a price sheet for you that has the commonly sold items that we see for that lab. In addition to that, we're going to also have the common markup prices that we see on that. You can make changes, you can add and delete whatever you want with this, but it is just kind of a nice starting point, especially since that markup price is also on there already. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And then you'll see the labs that are available to you here. This page is random, so each time it's going to show it in a different order. There's not any favoritism here with the labs. We like all of our labs, and you'll notice each time that it'll be in a different order. So we're actually just going to click Miller's because that's where I clicked. We'll give it a name. This name is internal, so you don't have to worry about your clients seeing that. And then we will click Create Price Sheet. So we made a commonly sold items one, so you can see that in these item categories, there are already items set up. If you want to add a category, you'll go here. These are categories from the lab. So if you click on one of these, this is going to add a category that you can then add lab fulfilled items to. If you want to add self-fulfilled items, you can do that here by adding a self-fulfilled product section. Self-fulfilled products are products that you're going to fulfill outside of this lab integration. So maybe you want to fulfill something from another lab, you would add it as a self-fulfilled item. You also can add self-fulfilled items within the particular item groups. So let's take a look at our prints over here. So again, since we set up the commonly sold item ones, you can see that we already have these on here, and they already have a markup price. If you want to add more products, you can go here. If you click add a lab item, that's going to add or bring up things from Miller's that you can add to this. If you want to add something again to be self-fulfilled outside of this lab integration, you would click add self-fulfilled item. We'll add a lab item here. It looks like we already have most of these, so I'm just going to click a random one. You can just select that, and then it's going to add it to your price sheet. So we can also drag and drop things. So if we want it to, show further down, you can drag that down here. And then if you want to change your markup, you can do that here and do bulk markup. You can do it for the entire price sheet on the main page. You can do it for here. You can add different versions of rounding, whatever you want. But the most important thing is to make sure that we have a good markup on this. In the handouts tab, we actually have a little infographic kind of about some of the common prices that we see for some of the most commonly sold items. So make sure that you download that before the presentation is done. We also have a sales script in there if that would be useful to any of you. So now we have our price sheet set up. So the next thing that we want to do is get that price sheet assigned to your gallery. So you have a few different ways to get it assigned to your gallery. You can do it from within that price sheet. You can do it from within a gallery's gallery settings, or you can use the bulk actions to apply that to multiple galleries at once. So back to our price sheet that we just made. If you want to assign it to a gallery, you can click this Assign to Gallery button, and you can check which one you want to assign it to here. Again, this one's not great for assigning it to more than one at a time, so we have other options for that. We can go to Galleries and then go to All Galleries. We can do select all, or you can do these individual select buttons underneath your gallery. And then once you do more than 2 of them, you'll notice this actions button comes up, and you can go to the bulk actions, and you have a couple of things that you can add to galleries in bulk. So you can go ahead and add your price sheet to multiple galleries at once. You can also add them into your gallery presets. So maybe you do different gallery presets for different types of shoots, but you know that, all of your school shoots that you're going to want this particular price sheet added to it. So you can, here in our seniors preset, you can come down here, go to the shopping cart, toggle it on, and click a price sheet from here. Your presets apply to your galleries as you create them, but again, just like everything else, you can make changes to it once you have applied it. So if you apply it to a gallery and then you want to make changes to that gallery's settings, you can totally do that. And then the last place to add a price sheet is in the specific gallery's settings. So if we go down here, similar to our presets, we go down to shopping cart. Let's add this new one that we just created. And then you do have some settings here for the shopping cart for this particular gallery. So you can allow cropping. Don't worry if you do this, you still have final say over the crop. So if your clients, zoom way in and it's not going to print well, or they crop people out or whatever, you will be able to change that before you submit it to the lab. Enabling the store allows your clients to shop in a product first environment, so they can view their gallery and pick photos and buy that way, but they can also go to this store where they can say, hey, what I really want is a canvas, and they can pick from the canvases and then pick the photos that they want as that. We have this abandoned cart email. If you have packages, you can do packages only. You can learn about those next week as well. But the really important thing I want to point out down here is this delivery options. So this determines who's going to pay for the shipping. So we mentioned this earlier, that you can always have it to drop ship. That's allowed ship to client only. That means that the client is going to be charged for the shipping every time, and they'll enter their address and it'll be shipped straight to them. If you allow pickup, the client isn't going to be charged shipping, and it's going to be sent to your studio. And then you can also give them the option to choose pickup or shipping. So we'll save this. And then the next thing we're going to look at is the client ordering experience itself. So now that we assigned that price sheet to a gallery, we can take a look at what it's going to look like. So we have this cute family gallery. We're going to go over here and we're going to click Preview Gallery. One second, let me get into it so that we can take a look. So here we're in our photo view. Remember, we have this store view as well. We can take a look at that. In our general just kind of gallery photo view, what you'll do is you're going to go and you're going to click on a photo, and then you'll click Buy Photo. And then you'll see all of those options that you set up in the price sheet for your client. So we'll see these prints, a little description. They'll see all the ones that they can select. They'll see the quantity, all of that. And then we'll do the store view. So we'll do a canvas. And we do have these little kind of previews to give you a little bit of an idea of how large the canvas is. We'll click Buy Canvas. And then with this one, we select the photo then that we want the canvas of. So we'll do this one. We'll add it to cart. I don't actually remember if I had the crop settings on for here. I did not allow them to allow cropping. If allow cropping was on, then they would see an edit crop button that they could adjust. So we can keep shopping, go back to our store, purchase more. But if not, we can go over here to our checkout. And then they can enter their information here. We I think I do have a payment gateway on in this one. I'm not going to place an actual order because I don't want to place an order and because I don't want to charge myself right now. But pretty standard, they'll enter all their information here. Once they're ready, they will click place order. Now, once they place an order, you'll be notified of that. You'll receive an email saying, hey, you've gotten an order. You need to go in and approve this. And then you can go over here back to our store tab and you can go to orders. So on the client end, though, just so you guys can see, they'll receive an email once they've placed their order. Your order has been placed. You're getting an email sent to your email address. This is what they'll see in the gallery. Sorry, and they can click back to gallery. And then this is just a little example of kind of the order page that or order confirmation that they'll receive in their email. So pictures of, which item they ordered, the quantity, the price, all of that. And then if you are just selling digitals, it'll be slightly different. So again, your order's been placed. You're going to receive an email when your digitals are ready to download, but the order confirmation looks pretty similar. And then once that has processed, they will get this email with the start download button where they can download those digitals. And then on your end, you're going to receive an email that looks like this with what the client ordered, what they paid, everything. And it's going to have this blue button up at the top that says review and approve. Once you click that, it's going to take you into the orders page for you to review and approve. Again, similar with digitals, except for that you don't have to approve them if you're doing the ShootProof fulfilled digitals. Those will be sent as soon as the client has paid for the order. If you don't want digitals that send automatically, you would want to set up self-fulfilled digitals. Similar, you would see the order and what they purchased, but you would be responsible for getting them those digital files. And now we're going to talk a little about the orders page. So on the orders page, you can see order details. This is also where you can combine orders, which we talked about earlier, and you can set up some lab order defaults. So the orders page is over here under this store tab. Again, we just have some example orders from a while ago. You can see the progress. These are awaiting studio, meaning that they need to be reviewed and submitted to the lab. You'll see these shipped. Ignore these. This would not happen. This was something that we canceled a while ago. We have a lot of test orders and things, so don't worry about that. You can search through your orders by the order number, gallery, customer name, all of that. And then if you want to combine orders, you can select here and you'll get these bulk actions and you can combine lab orders. Be aware that orders can only be combined if they are from the same lab. So be careful if you have price sheets for, different, if you maybe have a Bay Photo and a Miller's and all of that, you can't combine orders from there, obviously. And then we have these lab order defaults. I'll just show them really quickly. Most of these, aren't things that you need to be worrying about. But if you do want to do like back printing text, you can do that. If you want to automatically color correct photos, you can do that. But just be aware that once you toggle that on, it's always going to add color correction to your orders. And then last, we'll talk a little about order approval. So let's get clicked into one of these orders. Oh, one more slide. So within an order, there's a lot you need to do. It's not, it doesn't take a lot of time, but they're just things that you need to pay attention before you send your order off to the lab. We want to review and edit the crops. You can add mounting and texture options to your images. You can download images from the order. You can also replace images. You can adjust the quantities. You can also change what size a print is. So maybe they ordered something where it's not going to print well in that aspect ratio and you've talked to them and you need to change it, you can change what item it is. You can issue refunds. You can convert items to self-fulfilled. Maybe you didn't want to sell an item from a certain lab and you're actually going to self-fulfill that. You can convert that item. You can resend digital downloads. You can edit delivery details. You can add boutique packaging and color corrections, and you can create a mobile app. So there's actually a lot on the orders page that you are able to do. So we clicked into one of the orders that was awaiting approval. So again, we can do this edit. This would allow you to change the product and change the quantity if you needed to. If you want to upload a different image, one that you made edits to or whatever, you can click this replace button and it'll show you when that was last replaced. You can download images. You can convert items to self-fulfilled. You can create the mobile app here. This would just download the files. I know we only have one image in this, but it would download that one image file for you. And then if you need to add payment information, like run a card, maybe it didn't go through, you can add that here. You can mark it as paid. If you email, you can send an email to the client again of their order confirmation. So if they deleted it or they need it again, you can do that from there. And then you can click this big scary button that, don't worry, it does not automatically approve your order. I get scared about clicking it sometimes. We're going to click start approval. And then this is where you're going to kind of do all of those final things before you send it to the lab. So you have to confirm that you've reviewed the crops for this. And if you haven't, you need to go back and click review, right? We don't want anything to get sent to the lab where people's heads are cut off, or, again, it's cropped in so much that it's going to be bad quality, all of that. So you'll have to click, I have reviewed and approved the crops. If you want to add color correction, you can add it here. It'll let you know how much it will add to the order cost. Some places it's complimentary. Miller's, I believe it is. You can change the shipping option here, but just note that your client already paid for the shipping. So if you change it here, it's not going to charge them the difference. You would pay the difference in the shipping there. If you need to change the address, you can do that here. And then you have just kind of a summary of the cost, and it's going to let you know, exactly what the lab cost is and what's going to be deducted from that. And then you can click send to the lab. Notice here, lab orders that have been submitted cannot be changed or canceled. So before we submit them to the lab, we want to make sure that it's exactly how you want it to be, because the lab receives it almost immediately. So we're not able to contact them to make changes to the order once it's been submitted. So we want to be 100% sure before we submit it to the lab. I'm not going to submit this one to the lab because it doesn't need to go. All right. So this was a long one. Opening up the floor to Q&A. Please remember to grab those handouts before you leave. You can register for upcoming webinars at ShootProof.com/events. You can also watch previous webinars on demand at help.shootproof.com. Let's see. I see something in the Q&A. Is there a way to see what deep matte versus standard print looks like? Kevin, there's like a little bit of a preview in the gallery itself. It's going to kind of show you like a little bit of a difference on that example photo. But really, I would recommend ordering test prints through that studio ordering, just so you really can like speak to exactly how different that they look. Because also with like stuff like deep matte, if the pictures are, a little on the darker end, sometimes that doesn't look good. So again, ordering those test prints, I think, is a really good way to just know exactly what it is that you want to offer, because you might not even want to offer that. But let me see if I can pull up one of them. I don't know if I actually have deep matte on this price sheet. I don't think I do. Oh, here we go. It's kind of hard because how I have my screen set up. But so here's what the deep matte one looks like. And then a standard print. It's also really hard to tell with the black and white. Like I said, it's kind of tries to show the visualization a little, but I would recommend getting test prints to look at that. All right. Any other questions? This page is also in the handouts tab. If you need any further help with ShootProof, this is just all of the other ways that you can reach out to us. We have our help center, we have a blog, we have the community group on Facebook where people are talking about all things photography. You can reach out to our support team. We also offer concierge onboarding, so you can use that link to sign up for that. And then obviously we have these webinars. You're welcome, Kevin. Thanks for coming today. All right. Well, if no one has any other questions, I am going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I do hope to see you at a future webinar.